Yo, what's good everybody? Welcome back to another weekly outlook. As always, we'll start off on gold on the weekly time frame. And as you guys can see here, just like all of the previous weeks, we are still in a very much bullish trend. Now, one thing that I see though is that this weekly candle did close in form of a bearish engulfing when we're talking just about the buddies, right? But then again, looking at the candlestick itself, it is still a form of an indecision candle, just like the previous candlestick before. So yes, we are in an overall bullish trend on the weekly, but coming into next week, we could be anticipating a form of a steeper pullback back to the downside before we see that drive back up into the all-time highs, right? But let's hop down into the daily time frame and let's see what we get here. So here, very interesting. On the daily time frame, we see that price is basically ranging, right? It is ranging in between 25.25 and something down here at 25.04, right? So this entire range we will consider as a consolidation range or a box or range, whatever you want to call this, right? But looking at the candlestick formation itself on the daily, it is also kind of bearish engulfing body-wise this previous candle that we see here. And now when we go down into the 4-hour time frame, for example, we see a break of structure to the downside. So when we're looking at this, right, let's just look at price action from this point back to this point. We see that price pushed price up, created a higher high, came down for a higher low, created a new higher high, a new higher low, and then here we had the market structure shift where instead of creating a new higher high, price created a lower high, and immediately after we got this huge bearish dump back to the downside, creating a new lower low, meaning that this low is lower than this previous low that price created. So when we see that, what we want to wait for now is basically for the 3-leg extension. So the first leg will be the leg that breaks the structure, which ultimately was this leg here. Right here, this is our breakout leg. Then we want to wait for the pullback leg, which is the second leg. So the pullback leg could be anywhere from this point back to this point, right? So anywhere in this range, we could wait for that pullback, which would be the second leg. And then the third leg is the extension leg, right? So with that, we would have leg 1, 2, and 3. Now, if we get this and we get a new lower high point on the 4-hour time frame, we can then say that the intraday trend has officially shifted to a bearish market structure from which we could consider taking higher probability sells. Now, another thing to notice here is that price has also broken below the 50 EMA. As you guys can see, this red line, price closed below and is currently holding below. So as long as we can hold below this range, let's hop on to the 1-hour time frame to see what we could look for. So simply, as long as we maintain below the 25.06, 25.07 range, we pull back and start to reject this range, we could take sales back down into the 24.97 range. Now, if we see price breaking and closing under this support range here as well and closing below body wise, here's the same thing. We can wait for a pullback, wait for a rejection, so we can take sales back down into the next daily zone at 24.84. Okay, so that is as long as we maintain in this bearish market structure on the 1-hour and on the 4-hour time frame. What happens though if price comes all the way back above 25.07 and manages to close back above strongly? Now here is where I would like to wait for price to pull back into this range, hold at support right here and see some rejection candles, so we can take buys back up into this previous 1-hour highs. Or if we start to break and close above here, wait for that pullback and wait for that entry for the buys back up into this major resistance zone here on the 25.25 area, right? So to be honest guys, to keep it fairly simple, anything below 25.07 sells back down into this range, anything below this range sells back down into this range, anything above this range buys back up into this range, anything above this range buys back up into this range, right? To keep it as simple as possible. Now, this is fairly the breakdown for the Monday, maybe even Tuesday, because we do need to keep in mind that tomorrow, aka on Monday, we do have holidays for the US dollar. So I am not really expecting a lot of volume on gold, nor on any other pair that has to do with the USD. So for tomorrow, I mean, I will be coming live on TikTok. I'll also be coming live with my VIP members, but I'll be honest, I'm not really expecting a lot of volume to take any positions based off that. So I will most likely be waiting until Tuesday. And now the thing about this entire week is we have some big news basically the entire week. And now especially on Friday, since it's the first Friday of the month, you guys should already know we have NFP. So NFP is a news where you really want to stay away from and wait for it to pass. At least 30 minutes, maybe 1 hour later, there's when you can start looking to take any positions. But before that, I would not recommend to trade news at all. So make sure you guys keep an eye on the news this entire week, because there are a lot for the USD. Make sure you wait for them to pass, or you take profits or close your position before the news happen, in case you should be in a position before the news come out. But yeah, that's my take on gold here, guys. I'm honestly gonna keep it very open. I am open for sales, I am open for buys. The only thing that I want you to keep in mind, and that I will also personally keep in mind, is that on the higher time frames we are still in the bullish trend. So whatever happens in the intraday trend, the probabilities will always still be with the buys, because on the daily we are still bullish, and on the weekly we are still bullish, and the higher time frames will always dictate the overall trend. All right, so without further ado, let's hop on right over to NAS100 and see what we got going on here. So NAS100 on the weekly. On the weekly, we are still very much bullish. Why is that? We've created a higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. And now price is in the middle of the previous high and the previous weekly low. So in anywhere in this area, price can form a new higher low and then a new higher high, and so on and so forth. Now the ultimate higher high will be the moment where price breaks this weekly high and creates a new higher high, and with it a new all-time high, right? That's when we can see the overall continuation of the bullish trend on the weekly time frame. So now coming down into the daily, here's also something interesting that we see, where for a short period of time we had a bearish market structure, as you guys can see here, lower low, lower high, lower low, and then price broke this previous lower high point, created a new higher high point, came back down, and is currently forming a new higher low point. So the moment we break this previous high over here, we will also get the verification with the 3-leg extension on the daily time frame that NAS will now most likely continue bullish, right? So now that we know that the weekly is bullish, the daily is forming to stay and be bullish, let's hop on over to the 4-hour time frame and see what we get there. So on the 4-hour time frame, interesting to see is that it is still in form of a bearish market structure. If you guys want me to draw this out, we got a lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. Now here we got form of equal lows and internal market structure, and are currently back in this range. So if it holds now here and it starts to reject and breaks these lows again, this will be considered a new lower high point. But if we start breaking back above, creating a new higher high, we gotta wait for price to create a new higher low, and then the 3-leg extension here as well to verify that now the 4-hour has changed bullish as well. But as long as price maintains below this low here over at the 19,598, we could still consider this market structure bearish market structure on the 4-hour time frame. So if we go down into the 1-hour time frame right here, here the thing is, it's looking a little different, but to be honest, overall price is just in a range and it is consolidating. So when we look at this market structure here, we don't really see a trend. We don't see if it wants to continue higher or lower. All we see is a huge impulse to the upside, huge dump to the downside, impulse up, dump down, impulse up, right? So we're just consolidating in this range. So now let's see, okay, what if we want to take any positions here? To be honest, for me personally, let me actually draw out another zone here. So I'll put another support down here at the 4-hour, because price just didn't manage to break past below this 4-hour low. So I'll keep it fairly simple, what you could be looking here on NAS100. So first of all, if you want to focus on the higher time frames such as the daily and the weekly, and you want to look to take buys, then I would recommend you to wait for a closure above this range, for a break of these highs, right, for a new higher high to be created. Wait for a pullback, wait for a higher low to be created, and then you can take buys back up into this range. If we start breaking back above this range, then you could take a break and retest above this range, and then continue higher, and so on and so forth. Now, as long as price maintains below this resistance, you could still look to take sales back down into this 1938 area, something along those lines. Now, once price comes back into support and starts to bounce and reject again, you could take buys back up. Or if price starts to disrespect that support, break below, close below, we want to see that closure below which is very important. So if you want to look to take sales based off this range here, you need to wait for that candle closure on the 4 hour to close below. Otherwise, something like this could happen, like it already happened like 4 times, where price broke below but closed back above support. It broke, closed back above, broke, closed above, broke, closed above. So if you want to be super safe and don't get stopped out unnecessarily, like on a aggressive position here, wait for a candle closure below, then wait for that pullback, and then wait for that sell entry back down to the downside, right? But that only if you're looking to take these trades, right? But overall, I'll be honest, I'm kind of bullish bias on NAS just because of the weekly and the daily time frame. So I do see the potential of buyers taking over during market open and pushing price higher here. So I wouldn't wonder if we start breaking and closing back above this range. But ultimately, guys, if you've been following along with me, you should know the best thing you could do in the market is to just react and adapt. It doesn't matter if price is going to the upside or if it's going to the downside. As a trader, you can profit from both sides, right? So why always be married to just one direction when we can profit from both directions? So that's what I always mean with react and adapt. If the market is showing bullish market structure right now and it's a intraday trend and you see a lot of bullish momentum, why should you try to fight against that bullish momentum? Instead, just accept it, react to it, adapt to it, and then instead of looking for sales because you came into the day looking for sales, just adapt to what the market is doing and start looking for buys. And that is literally the best thing that you could do, guys. So that's just a tip from my side. So you can become profitable traders overall when you start to learn market movements and market volume and structure, right? But yeah, guys, that's it from me. If you guys have been wanting to join the VIP, you can feel free to do that. I do have the link in my TikTok bio. I have the link in my Instagram bio and also somewhere in the Telegram group. So if you want to join the VIP, I still have some spots open. I'd be very happy to welcome you guys. We literally go live every day with the community. We take trades together. We have breakdowns together. Like, I'll let you guys know where I get in, where I get out, where I put my take profit and my stop loss, how I manage my trade, and so on and so forth. And besides that, like all the time while we are waiting for a trade, I'm just generally answering questions and diving super deep into every topic that has to do with trading, where I just literally provide the best value possible, right? So like I said, if you've been wanting to join the VIP, make sure you do that. You can also find the link below in the YouTube description, and I'll be very happy to welcome you guys into the family. But besides that, guys, I wish you a very successful trading week. Make sure to keep an eye open for the news. Don't get clapped unnecessarily. And I'll see you on the next one. Peace.